obviously doesn't necessarily want to generate a lot of extra keys. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in showbiz, third time's the charm. I don't know if they say that in showbiz, but that's a famous showbiz phrase. I mean, you know, the late great, Marcel Marceau said it. And the joke is he doesn't talk, so famously a mime.
There we go.
And hopefully, famously, we have this world-class streaming setup working again. Joining us, hopefully on the main stream for initial rocks in the. Okay, looks like we got it fixed. Again, the people that were in the chat, my apologies. Just some YouTube technical difficulties that we haven't had to deal with. And thank you so much for staying with us. I know I know this is not what any of us would have wanted. So, yeah, thank you so much. So,
thank you.
We're in business. And so I get to do the introduction one last time.
That's fine.
Because it was a great introduction.
It was.
I'm going to switch to the other one. Like, hello, America and curling friends from Canada and Newfoundland. This is your host, Ryan, with you with men's quarterfinal action here at the MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns for 2023. I'm being joined by a very special guest, my oval curling companion, compadre. It's Trevor Dersch. He played with Team Pomeroy this year. So, hello, Trevor.
Yes, hello, Ryan. Thank you for having me here. I hope you are all here, ready to watch some quarterfinals take place, and we are excited to see how this game transpires. And yeah, we're excited that you're here, and thank you for being here and tuning in tonight.
So, okay, let's we're going to keep checking to make sure you guys are in the right stream. Looks like in terms of looking at the house here, that looks like one of the rocks went out. So hopefully we're all back. And I do need to update the scoreboard. There's so many things to check. Definitely appreciate you guys keeping us on our toes. That is correct. Spangler was forced to one with a hammer in the first end. And now it's McBride's turn to see what he can do with a hammer. McBride is from Hollywood, Spangler from Wine Country. So kind of a great matchup of California teams here. And so it looks like kind of a ticked off of the yellow guard there. It's come to rest center line roughly in the 8-foot zone.
Yeah, I think they were trying to bury that blue stone behind the yellow guard.
Indeed.
And it just ticked it just right at the last second. And we've seen several of those shots happen during our time out on the ice. So
it basically gives McBride a target to tackle. I always do alliteration. That's one of my tactics, my talkie tactics. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What did work was that takeout hit. The shooter does not stick around, rolls out of the house. So open house, it looks like Spangler wants to try that draw again. Made sense. This is Dan Stephanie in his second. Dan's got a lengthy resume of curling. He does travel the Bonspiel circuit. Was able to see him in Utah at least a couple times recently. He's been curling for about 10 years now. Also notes on his bio that the majority of which has been with One Country Curling, has participated in various recreational and competitive leagues. And looks like that experience is paying off as he does get that come around. It's a little deep. So he had a good line, but it goes through the house out of play. So
unfortunate.
Just a bit of a bummer, but it's still early in the game, and it's an empty house. So now McBride wants to draw around. I don't know if that's enough. Is that the same line that Spangler was taking?
I wasn't looking too closely. Okay. There might be a little bit more ice from what I can remember. So.
And this is the last rock
This is the last rock of the second.
From Nate Clark. And Nate, since you guys missed it, my beautiful bio reading from the first game, Nate first learned of curling when he first saw an eagle flying across the sky. He said, quote, "Why can't I make granite bend like that?" The rest was history. So, and what was history is that, so the line was actually a little wider than was needed. Partially comes around that corner guard. From the overhead, it looks like it's about 2/3 open, and you know, kind of when you look at it from the front side, it does appear to be the same. As Chris Hillman gets ready for his first rock here without the hammer in the second end. And also as a reminder, during the end breaks, we will go around the rings and get you updated on all the quarterfinal action, just like Sportsnet. We're like one of the. That's right. I'm Kevin Martin. You know.
And I don't know who his partner is, but
I have to remember. Rob Fouts is actually the play-by-play announcer, and then
okay.
Kevin Martin. I'm blanking on the name, but you know, there's other people that do color.
A little hard when you're live.
The joke I make though is like, I'm Vic and you're my Russ tonight.
Yeah,
So.
there we go. I'll be Russ. And we thank you again for tuning in.
So let me see. Got another comment on the chat, so we'll see what's going on here. As the third for
McBride. So
yes, and that would be that's Nate Clark.
That's Nate Clark. I think Cameron
Oh,
Ross.
okay, so that's Nate Clark. All the whole bio about birds flying in granite and stuff.
Yeah.
And he did make granite fly. He took out the shot rock, and so now now McBride is sitting 2. So let's kind of go to a nice default view so we can catch the action while I try to make sure this YouTube is working okay.
Did get a thumbs up from one of our spectators, so I'm hoping that things are working here.
It's receiving. We got 44 viewers, so hopefully we got all the viewers here. And yeah, beautiful.
Again, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we're hoping that you're enjoying this broadcast.
And it does look like Spangler traded a hit with McBride. Spangler is now shot in the outer 4 there, as you can see from this overhead view. We are really close to skip stones here. This is Nate's last rock, Nate Clark.
Yep, Nate Clark. Yep. I skipped for Team McBride.
So definitely. So curling is a team sport, and apparently making sure you have the right YouTube stream is also a team sport. So, teamwork. High five here in the booth. There we go.
That's right.
And I would high five you
smiling and
guys.
laughing.
High five you guys in the chat lounge if we could. Definitely appreciate it. There's definitely some Twitter spiel people in the chat. Definitely love having them here. As Cameron Spangler gets his shot lined up, Cameron, he's been curling for 9 years, and he's got a nice resume of experience that also includes a trip to Arena Nationals. He won bronze, and he was in the quarterfinals 3 times, or thrice, as one might say.
Oh yeah, thrice.
Was also at the MoPac men's Playdowns, club Playdowns quarterfinals once, and you can say twice now because this is his second time.
Mm-hmm. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Cameron Spangler: for the past 9 years, he has been voted the best curler in all of MoPac by a prestigious committee consisting of his wife, 3 daughters, and his mom.
I think we should get a recount.
Right? Okay, so Spangler's making his draw. I think he wants to try to get up and freeze right up into that yellow. There might be a slight tap. Yep. Rolled out.
So it's open though. So
It's mostly open. So that leaves McBride with some options.
they're looking for hit and roll, but they've got to get around that high. It's not a high. It's a pretty tight corner guard. But what do you think the chances are here of accomplishing that? Like, what's the miss? I mean, the obvious miss is jamming on that yellow that's sitting in the outer 8 foot.
Yeah, with the type of ice the broom that he's calling, yeah, there is that chance that if he hits the stone on the high side, that it will hit that yellow stone. I don't think it'll necessarily hit and stick, but it will cause some stones to shoot in certain directions. So we'll just kind of see how things go here.
This is actually, I think, a kind of a tricky shot because that corner guard is just kind of sitting there, making, like it's right in the line of sight. He's got to make sure he gets around it, and and then still makes contact. And so I think that the difficulty of the shot, it's not a gimme.
No, no, and being able to throw the right way and being able to, read the ice and be able to know how much it curls by. Like right now, it looks like it's going to clash off that guard. Oh, it is. And
Yeah.
they're going to see if they can play off of that. But they have opened it up. Now that blue stone that's shot rock is now wide open.
So what would you do here? I have a possibility. I think Cameron might as well, but let's see what he does. He's looking at maybe possibly hitting the yellow. But what would you like to do? I mean, what would you maybe do in this situation?
Yeah, well, it's still very early in the game. It looks like they still haven't updated the scoreboard, right? Because we're in the second end. So at least I'm not seeing any numbers on the scoreboard.
Nope. There should be a 1 for Spangler.
There should be a 1 for Spangler. So he doesn't have the hammer. What it looks like he's calling is just a draw behind the yellow rock and see if he can bury another stone. That way he's giving McBride a harder shot where he has to either follow and hit it and try to take one. However, if Spangler throws too deep, he may be leaving himself up for a double, depending on how close it gets to the other blue stone.
Or too light. I mean, so they're doing the shot that I thought they should have made, which is draw, I think, like top 4 foot, almost parallel to their shot stone. So basically, it would make it impossible for McBride to get rid of them both. Here it's going a little heavy, and so this is going to be a miss. Not an awful miss, because people are talking about curling streams and other events. It's kind of fascinating. We've had a lot of compliments for our event, and we're definitely very thankful for it. As we're seeing the hammer shot getting set up by McBride, looks like they're going to try and chip out that blue. This is a dangerous shot again, just because of the possibility of a jam. I'm curious if they're taking. I mean, it looks like they're probably going to throw up weight. They need to make sure they hit it on the left side of the blue rock, from this view, because they don't want it to over curl in a jam. I mean, I guess if it curls, going to the right side of the center of the stone is just asking for trouble.
Asking for trouble, and also, it looks like McBride stood up and said, "Hey, let's finish this." And it looks like he's going to get his hit, and it's going to hit and stick, and he's got his 2.
Beautiful shots.
Yes, very great shot for McBride.
So McBride answers with a deuce here in the second end to take a 2-1 lead over Team Spangler. We're going to head into the third end in just a moment, but before we do that, let's take a trip around the rings. Ooh wop, ooh ooh wop. Yeah. No, we can't sing it anymore.
Oh,
copyright stuff. No.
Okay.
So
touche.
I don't think we would get sued or anything, but
Well, and I don't even know if we were on key, so.
But it's just enough to evoke the memory of the song.
That's right.
In trouble.
That's right. We're in the world that's Carmen Sandiego. Oh, I don't know that.
No. So, something that's legally distinct but resembling the theme song from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Yep.
So.
Similar. I don't think I was singing it exact. So.
Yeah, we say this jokingly. So we have 4 sheets in play. And we're going to have 4 sheets in play tomorrow. So sheet 5 is done for the weekend. Looking at bondspieler.com, they are our hosts for live scoring. Looking at sheet 1, this is going to be a good game. You have Team Barajas from the San Francisco Bay Area starting with a hammer and Yellowstones. They blanked the first end, and then Sidian stole the 3 points in the second. And so Sidian's now with a 3-0 lead. Sidian's the defending champions out of Coyotes. On sheet 2 is our feature game. McBride of Hollywood with Yellow Rocks and a 2-1 lead over Spangler. On sheet 3, we have a tie game between Team Tate with the Yellow Rocks out of Coyotes and Team Fleming with Yellow Rocks also out of Coyotes. So that is a dogfight, as it were. I misread that. I thought they were tied, but it's a 2-1.
No, 2-1. Yeah.
I thought it was 1-1. Did they change the score?
They must have updated it.
Okay.
They must have updated it.
'Cause
Might have been a typo. I saw it too. I saw the 1-1.
Okay. It's like,
You're not going crazy.
dust my eyes.
Betrayeth
deceive
me.
Yeah. And then what doesn't betray me is on sheet 4, Team Leclerc from Coyotes, another top flight team, opened with a deuce and then stole 2 from Meyer in the second. So it's now 4-0 Leclerc over Meyer. Meyer from the San Francisco Bay Area. So all these live scores are on bonspieler.com. We are also going to, kind of get back to this coverage when we can. Just FYI, sometimes the scoreboard video doesn't update as quickly as we'd like. This is a great technology setup here, but as part of the setup, they made a choice to, they made a choice to make sure they had the better cameras on the overheads that you're seeing here, and I think that was a great choice.
Yes.
The fallout from that choice is that they were using security cameras for the scoreboard, and they don't quite always update. Although it looks pretty up to date now. So.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty accurate. I was trying to compare them. I was looking at sheet 5 and then realized we don't have any teams on sheet 5. And I was like, they're not updating it.
That's what threw me off.
Yeah, that's all good.
All right, returning now to our feature game as Spangler just took out a McBride rock that was just kind of sitting in the house, minding its own business, man. Like what what did that rock ever do to Team Spangler?
I don't know. I just looked at him wrong. Sometimes those stones can have long stone faces.
So Spangler, so this is McBride's rock. I think he's again looking to do a hit. Just based on where McBride has the broom. This is the lead for McBride.
Yeah, actually, I think this might be the second. I'm trying to see if I see the other stones. Yeah, because I see that's the third stone of yellow.
Okay, so this is the second.
First stone of the second.
Yes, and that would be...
That'd be Cameron Ross.
Cameron Ross, and he has a story to tell. Why don't you help tell it, Trevor?
Okay, sure. Cameron Ross. It says, one day Cameron stared out into the vast white north and wondered, is this it? He was a 4-time championship sled dog racer, but he thirsted for more. He praised his pups and showered them with adoration after their inevitable wins, but he yearned for more. That's when he saw a new curling team. That's Cameron Ross. Love it. That's really awesome that he did sled dog racing, and he probably saw some curling in the Olympics and decided, here's my next great challenge. So
I almost wish someone would fill out a Mad Libs with all the adjectives, and it's like, Ryan was a stinky curler.
Oh, golly. No, it was fine.
Whose favorite type of delivery was butter. Because you're in middle school when you do Mad Libs, so
yeah.
If people still do Mad Libs, which it seems unlikely. But.
So it looks like Cameron's delivering his second stone, which is going to be some type of peel where they hit it and roll out. Oh, however, it stuck around. Looks like it's biting the edge of the 12 on the side.
So Spangler's going to make a play on it. Spangler does not have the hammer this end. It's a pretty open sheet. So what are your thoughts about them maybe trying to blank here this end?
It definitely is set up to look that way. So it looks like we've got Spangler's team throwing. I don't think this is his vice skip. I think this is his second.
Oh, and it falls out.
Uh-oh, went out of bounds.
So this has been a side of the sheet that has been causing teams problems all tournament long. Jane Burton from Team Burton was saying that there might be like a scraper line down that side that is kind of causing some of that problem. I thought it looked a little bit better in the morning draws, but it seems to perhaps maybe be back a little bit. So in that situation where you're drawing towards the 12-foot, when we switch views, you'll kind of see it. So when we switch views here, so where that yellow is on the left side, rocks that are thrown wide tend to stay wide or fall out, and then there's a certain point where they come back and they curl naturally. So I think that may have tripped Spangler up.
That could have, easily tripped him up.
Well, you were on this sheet last night. Did you see anything like this, or do you remember anything like that?
Sheet 2 was actually playing pretty well. I struggled with sheet 3. Sheet 3, we definitely had multiple stones that picked during multiple games, and I heard other teams talking about some picks, and it could be from this middle section that you can see on the left of the broadcast where players are standing as they're waiting for the other team to throw. We've seen some little slivers and little wood chips that sometimes come out, and we had a couple of some picks where even it started scratching the ice a little bit, which was very unfortunate. So, yeah, I'm not sure if it's being caused from this middle balcony area, or this middle platform, I should say.
So Chris Hillman there with the takeout does kind of it does remove the yellow counter, but the shooter rolls away, and so it looks like McBride is asking his third, and this is going to be
Nate
Clark, yes, the guy who likes Eagles.
Yep.
But I don't know if he likes the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a huge ask there. So.
Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to split the house.
Yep. And then again, take the blank away. So I think McBride was thinking that Spangler could blank, and it's like, you're not going to do that. We're going to force you to 1, perhaps.
Yep.
So just a comment from Nick on the chat saying that he can't confirm. He thinks there's a black hole on the sidelines of 2. All of his lead rods pull to that side no matter what.
Okay.
LOL.
Yep.
Which I literally LOL'd.
I only played on that sheet once, and the ice actually was doing pretty well on that one. So sheet 3 is the one that I really struggled with. It's kind of funny because I told one of my teammates that I hate sheet 3, and he's like, what? He's like, Trevor hates sheet 3? He's like, that's a strong word. And I was like, well, sheet 3 wasn't being nice to us, so I dislike it heavily.
So Spangler's third, Hillman threw another great takeout. This time the shooter sticks around. And also I think both of these teams have that line, that path pretty well figured out, at least for this end. Nate Clark doesn't waste any time putting the broom down.
Yeah.
Nate Clark, we're going to remember his name by the end of the
We will
game.
have it memorized.
Speaking of names, Trevor's awesome with names. Curling is a social sport, and Trevor does a really good job of kind of getting to know people and remembering who they are and stuff, which I think is a great attribute.
Thank you. I definitely strive to. I think it's good to know your fellow curlers, and it's just really fun to be able to see them at different events such as these and be able to catch up and play a fun sport, and yeah, it's great.
So McBride does answer a hit with another hit of his own. So call us, Dick Clark's Top 40 American Bandstand. We're just playing the hits tonight here, at least for now.
Yep.
And then later you can call us Picasso because we'll be drawing. So.
That's right. Yep. We'll do the best we can, but unfortunately we can't stream what our drawings will look like. So
I mean,
that's probably better anyway, right? Keith on the chat says he can barely remember his own name. So, yeah, sometimes that happens too.
So this is Cameron Spangler's first with the hammer. As we mentioned, Cameron, I don't know if we mentioned it in this version of the broadcast. If you want to mention his fun fact, which is kind of fun.
Yep. Cameron Spangler, yeah, where he was voted the best curler in all of MoPac by a prestigious committee of his wife, 3 daughters, and his mom.
Mike Harris, by the way. So on the Sportsnet broadcast, the color commentators are Joan McCusker, who is on the Central Schmirler gold medal team from Nagano, Mike Harris, the silver medalist from Nagano, and some guy that did okay in curling, Kevin
okay.
Martin,
Oh yeah.
He's got 2 first names.
He did
too.
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's only like, one of the goats of curling, but he's one of those extra guys.
He only just changed the game. So.
Yeah.
And then also the person doing play-by-play for Sportsnet is Rob Fowles, and so I'm kind of the Rob. I prefer to be Vic, or to go back to be one of the Dons on the CBC broadcasts. So, and I think Trevor's too young to have watched any of the CBC broadcasts back in the day, but
we won't go there.
No,
I won't deny that fact, but yeah, we'll just keep going.
Well, and I'm almost too young for the heyday of CBC curling broadcasts. But no, Don Whitman, though, was kind of the first curling announcer I really
that you really watched and
heard.
followed.
And then his colleague was Don Dudid, who is this a prominent curler and announcer. And actually, when NBC broadcast the 2002 Olympics, I think Don Dudid was the color commentator. Because NBC Sports likes to bring in, kind of Canadian ringers to help with the broadcast.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting right here, NBC. I'm totally joking.
I know, right? Maybe one day.
Yeah.
We're working on it, right?
Indeed. Also, something to work on is that Cameron Spangler is facing 2 here. So there's no blank. There's only a force. And Spangler needs to pretty much touch the forefoot here to get a single.
To get his one.
To tie things up.
Yep. But he can't shoot it through.
That looks like it got a little bit of heat on it.
It's got a little bit, but they're calling their sweepers. Oh, okay, they're going to hit the stone.
Oh, hit it. Okay,
but
that makes
now
sense.
hopefully they stick around because they're hitting that fin.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. They're sweeping. Oh, it looks like a steal.
Oh, man.
From McBride. See, you can't be hitting
That's
the
the
stones thing.
That's
thin.
the danger of that shot. I mean, certain players are more comfortable with one shot or the other. Both Trevor and I are on arena ice, so I'm sure our inclination is to just draw all day. And I was like, okay, we really need to find a path to the house, so I guess we need to throw a takeout.
Yep. For me personally, if I were to have called that shot, I would have said, let's draw into the house. And I would have held the broom in a way where if it did start to curl, I would use that yellow stone as backing. So that way, if it tapped it or if it froze right up to it, you would still try to be at least shot rock to get that point. But unfortunately, it did overcurl. The sweeper wasn't able to hold it. Hit it thin. Yeah, you knocked out one of McBride's stones, but Nate Clark did a great job sweeping past the tee line and got that blue stone out, making it a steal.
Let's go around the rings. This is also, again, we're at the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. There's kind of a hubbub of activity in the warm room as we are in the playoffs and people are coming down to watch, which is great. It is kind of a smaller warm room, but that just makes it more of a cozy atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And also what's a cozy atmosphere is if you look at the sheet 3 away house, I've been telling this joke all week, so if you've heard it before, I apologize, but the holidays may be over, but there is a Christmas tree still in front of that house.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome.
And
got to keep the season going.
Yep. So just around the rings real quick, and we'll get back to our feature play here. On sheet 1, Sidians scored a 3 spot in the second to take a 3-0 lead over Barajas. Sidians stole that after Barajas blinked the first end. Sheet 2 again is our feature game. McBride stole a single to take a 3-1 lead over. Team McBride stole in the third to take a 3-1 lead over Spangler. Sheet 3. Looks like Fleming opened the scoring with a single with a hammer, and then Tate answered with a deuce, making the score now Tate 2, Fleming 1, and Tate's playing with the Red Rocks on sheet 3. And then on sheet 4, it looks like Leclerc opened up with a pair of deuces, and then Meyer answered with a single with the hammer in the third. So heading into the fourth end, it's 4-1 Leclerc, Yellow Rocks taking on Meyer, Red Rocks. So that gets you up to date on the scoring. We are going to take a 5-minute break after the fourth end. We are playing 8 ends of regulation, and each team gets a 90-second timeout. So we have one extra end if it comes to that, because we don't do any stinking shootouts or anything like that. I have joked that we should do a competitive dance battle to see who wins in a tie. To see, let's dance it out. You know?
Dance it out.
Maybe not on the ice, because dancing on the ice might not be recommended.
It can be dangerous, but Ryan, if you watched my stream, or if any of you watched my stream earlier, I actually did do the moonwalk out on the dance, or on the ice. I did do the moonwalk on the ice. So
interesting.
If you're wanting to watch that, go back to the Hals versus Pomeroy game.
So it looks like Spangler's asking for some heat here to kind of start clearing out the center of the house. Coming home here in the fourth end. Does get the shot rock out, but is open. So they could, again, be playing the hits here in the fourth end, which is not, I don't think, going to be to the benefit of Spangler. ultimately because they need rocks in play to try and score multiple points.
Yep, they do.
And so also here, if McBride's
Second, Cameron
yeah,
Ross.
Cameron Ross, yes.
Yep.
So for Cameron, I think they're looking for a bit of a hit and roll, but if they hit it right on the schnoz, I think that's still going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, his release looked clean. It looks like looks like Nate Clark is sitting there holding it. Looks like they want to peel the stone actually from the way it's going to hit. Yep. Peeled it, lose the shooter.
So just some comments. Please no
Yeah.
dancing on the ice. We also have
dancing on the
we
ice.
also have a request for no more singing. I don't know, like for the row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. All right, we're done. Back to the action.
Don't worry, Nick. We won't hurt your ice. I made sure not to put any dings in it or anything. When I dance, I normally just am dancing with my gripper on my foot and just my normal curling shoes. So I don't think it's doing any damage to the ice.
So McBride, it looks like Spangler hit out McBride, and so now it's Spangler sitting the one here.
Yeah.
This is turning into a pretty open house for this fourth end. Teams are also kind of looking to control the even ends, and so ideally Spangler would try and set up a deuce here. But I mean, this is still early in the game, I think. So I think blanking is not a bad outcome at the halfway point here.
No, and I have to say, with this being the second stone of the second throwers, it doesn't look like it's setting up to be an end that anybody could really capitalize on points. Now, of course, McBride is going to still put the pressure on Spangler since Spangler has the hammer, but we will see if he'll be able to answer all of McBride's requests. From the previous end, they did have one stone go out, and so hopefully they're not. This one looks wide.
It does look a little wide here.
It's a curl.
It's floating out. It's floating out.
Yep.
It's not going to come back.
Yeah.
And it's going to.
Oh, and flashed that stone.
Yes.
That is a term that I learned in curling, and when I was telling my wife about it, she said, "Well, tell somebody to put on some clothes. Don't flash the stones." And I was like, "No, that's not what it means. It means you just completely miss everything, and it goes right through."
One of the possibilities that Spangler could have done perhaps is to maybe do the gentle tap to kind of tap their opponent's stones to the back of the house to kind of create a pocket.
Yes.
It does amp up the risk of giving up a multiple point steal, though.
It can.
But it also changes the dynamic at the end to kind of take control of the end. Now we're talking about putting ice skates on the curling ice, which is not recommended to say the least.
No, not on curling ice.
There is a photo. There's a historic photo, I think, from Ardsley or one of the curling clubs back east, where they had a skating demonstration on the curling ice as part of like a season opener. And I would have to think that the head ice technician did not have a voice or say, and it's like how about we let the kids do a skating demonstration? How about we not?
Yeah. Well, Ryan, it's actually kind of funny because there was one of the first events when I was teaching Learn to Curl classes at the Utah Olympic Oval, where we were teaching a class and there was a skater who thought he could just come out to our sheet and start skating around as there were stones, and he started pushing the stones with his ice skates, luckily not on the sharp blade part, but he was treating it like a soccer ball. And at one point I went to one of the other instructors and I was like, I don't think we can have ice skaters out here. And he's like, no, that person shouldn't be here. So he had to kindly but firmly ask him to go back to the regular ice where they were doing ice skating. Yeah, so I was like, he put a couple of, nice little paths of, ice skating right into the curling sheet, and I was just like, well, that sheet's not playable anymore.
So you can call this a thriller because it's chock full of hits here.
That's right.
Looks like Spangler was able to do a hit and roll towards the center, but then McBride just hit them out. So
Yep. Yep, McBride is definitely putting on the pressure. I'm wondering, though, with that corner guard, I think they meant to get that into the house, but it came
Yeah.
up short.
Oh, did you see that from Hill, I believe? Hillman, Chris Hillman.
Hillman.
He did a little
Chris
bit of a
Hillman.
lift.
Oh,
He did a bit of
okay.
a cooey lift there. That's amazing.
There we go. So for some of you newer curlers, the style in the past was to give yourself kind of a swing.
A pendulum swing.
A pendulum swing, so that you could come out of the hack and have kind of that force that's going to pull you along to help you make that great shot. And nowadays you see a lot of professional curlers just push right out of the hack or fall out from the hack.
You put in their body weight into
Putting their body weight,
into
yep,
the energy of
coming
the
up
stone.
and then coming down. And as Jamie Sinclair explains it in one of her videos, she says she's just kind of, coming down into the ice and just using that body weight and not really pushing off the hack, where some people will push off the hack, or maybe it's a combination of both.
So Spangler is sitting pretty exposed. Now, definitely looks like McBride is just going to hit it out. Pretty clean ends, all said and done, and definitely the blank is in play here. We haven't seen too many blanks during this event, so.
No. I'm guessing he will want to come down and hit Spangler's stone in a way where he can roll behind the Yellowstone and make it a little harder. It needs to curl a little bit more. However, if it noses it, that's also fine.
That looks really good,
little
actually.
Little roll. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty good. However, the stone from this other camera angle looks like it's exposed. So
About at least
75%.
Yeah.
However, it looks different from the hack. The webcam may see something, and down in the hack, it may look a little different.
Yes, that's kind of the trick about the.
The stream.
Yeah. So, have a comment from Keith saying he was pretty sure that the yellow dart was supposed to be in the house, and I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to throw a guard right there, because it's like, well, now you're giving Spangler to now bury a stone and, give him a chance to come back and, gain some points.
So it looks like they're going to do the hit here. This is Spangler's first of two skip stones with the hammer. I think looking to manufacture a deuce somehow, or just set up the blank. So I think hitting and rolling wide to the right might be what Spangler is trying to do here, as his first stone is underway here.
Sweepers are staying close, just watching it.
You don't want to roll out. You want to stick around. So I think the way he's throwing was kind of geared to curl in and then kind of roll back out. But it's not coming back.
Shoot, nope. Flashed another one. It's going right through.
So now this is an opportunity for McBride. Looks like he's setting up to force, just based on where he's putting the broom, to kind of guard the shot rock, and then basically kind of creating a zone around the top of the house for Spangler to draw around, just for the single.
Yeah, he wants to kind of put it there at the top of the house to make it so Spangler can't easily go take out the yellow. It looks like McBride is going to take advantage of the situation and force Spangler to have to get a point so that he won't blank the end, because right now, if McBride were to miss his shot, or it happened to go through, or it picked, which sometimes it happens, then Spangler definitely has a good shot to blank the end and retain the hammer.
So what do you think about the amount of ice that they're taking? It looks like it's a good 5 feet.
Yeah, from my experience from our games, like, the ice definitely changed throughout the game. There are times where it was curling quite a bit, and there are times where it was curling maybe a few feet. I'm not sure if that was based on our throwers and the way we were curling, or if the ice was changing a little bit. And it could also be based on how many, players we have out on the ice, and when they take their break, that allows the ice to actually cool down some before everybody comes back out. And so I've noticed a little bit of changing of the ice conditions, but that's not a bad thing, because that's the exciting part of curling, is you get these different variables that you have to be able to read, and great curlers read the ice and be able to adapt and play the game.
So really quickly, Spangler's going to go for the blank.
Okay.
He has the broom set up to double those yellows out. I mean, if he sticks the shooter for one, I'm sure that's not bad. But he's not going for the draw. He's not going for what I would consider to be a safe shot. For him, maybe doing this double is a safe shot.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens now with Spangler and the hammer. Sweepers are jumping on it pretty quickly. I think trying to hold the line.
Hold the line, hit it on the low side, because if he hits it on the high side, it will jam and not do what he'd like it to. Great shot.
So it does accomplish a double and
Great
sticks
shot.
around for one. So,
Yep.
so we thought they were trying for a blank, but they stick the shooter for one. Not a bad outcome. It could have been worse.
It could have been worse. It actually could have.
So we are at the fourth end break. We'll be back with McBride holding the hammer and a 3-1 lead. You are tuned to the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. We will be back in just a moment. But to let you know that live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help getting one started in your community. And speaking of getting a club started in your community, one of the newest MoPac clubs is in just outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh,
I forget
excellent.
the exact city name.
Okay.
But it's an arena club.
It's an arena,
They
okay.
have 3 sets of stones. 2 of them were loaned by our association.
Excellent.
And then a MoPac board member bought a third set of stones
Oh,
to
excellent.
loan to them and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and that's one of the great things about the sport is that we're often trying to help each other out. Even when your opponent's on the ice, you can be friendly off the ice. And we definitely see that with teams like from Coyotes and Hollywood and now San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco Bay Area has been here longer than any of those clubs, but just one of the great aspects of the sport. So we're in the fourth end break out of 8 ends. So we're going to recap the games and kind of leave it here on the around the rings while we take a mini break ourselves. So looking at the sheet 1, looks like.
We've got Siggins red versus Barajas yellow.
And it looks like Siggins just blanked the fourth end to go into the break, up 3-1. Sheet 2 is our feature game. McBride with Yellow Rocks is up 3-1 over Cameron Spangler from Wine Country. On sheet 3, it's a Coyotes dogfight there. Team Tate with the Red Rocks has a 4-1 lead over Team Fleming. And then on sheet 4, we have Team LeClaire from Coyotes, one of the top teams in the field. I mean, if you're a Coyotes team, you're almost the top, almost certainly the top team in the field. But
Sure.
Team LeClaire has a 4-2 lead over Team Meyer from the Bay Area. LeClaire throwing Yellow Rocks.
Yeah, it also looks like they still need to update the scores for the fourth end on sheet 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we've got the
Oh,
other
yeah.
sheets. Yep, so that update should be coming shortly.
All right.
Well,
Well,
thank you for tuning in.
we're going to take a moment break. We'll be back with myself and Trevor Dersch. You are tuned again to the MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns.
we go.
And we are back to the second half of men's quarterfinal action here at the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club as part of the MoPac 2023 Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. This is your announcer, Ryan, joined by my special guest, Trevor Dersch. He's my oval curling compadre. Happy to have him with us as we're breaking down this feature sheet game between Team Cameron Spangler of Hollywood.
Spangler's from Wine Country.
Spangler's from Wine Country, my apologies. Going against Team McBride. He's from Hollywood.
He's from Hollywood.
And, Rots in play. We are solidly underway here. And looks like Spangler was trying to draw around the center guard there. And doesn't quite get there.
Yep. It looks like he's left it open.
That's now they're going to a hitting game.
Yep. But thank you, Ryan. Yes, I'm excited to be here and give a little bit of commentary during this game. It's very exciting. It's been an exciting last few days, and we've got some really great teams. And this is probably the most teams that the MoPac men's playdowns have ever seen. I know last year I think there were 10 teams, and then this year we've had 18.
Oh, yeah.
At one point we had 16.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, clipped off of that one in the house and opened it wide up.
So and it hits the stone that was already in the house to the outer 8 foot, and then the shooter rolls out. I believe that's the sequence of rocks. So that Cameron shot, the Spangler shot stone is open, and I think they're probably going to try and draw to a guard. I don't think they want to come in, although if they do come in, it's not the end of the world if it's high enough.
Yeah, we'll see what, I'm guessing he'll want to put one up to either guard that one or come around and put another one in the house.
They were yelling to go early and then to switch sweeping. So it sounds like, it looks like it's guard and they wanted it to carry, and now they're definitely also sweeping in part to hold the line. So that's a high guard. High guard, definitely. And just a real quick note for our viewers. We mentioned that the newest club in MoPac is in western Wyoming. That is technically it's in Victor, Idaho. So it's eastern Idaho, near the border, close to Jackson Hole.
Victor, Idaho, yes. And I believe they actually just held one of their first bonspiels just this last November.
Yes, they held like a semi-outdoor bonspiel. It's a facility that has exposed walls.
Yes, it does. I think two exposed walls.
Yeah.
Yep.
So McBride there gets rid of one of the Spangler guards and rolls wide, but sticks around in the guard zone. And it looks like Spangler wants to do some cleanup in the house.
Yep. I have to say, Ryan, so I have some family that are up in the Teton Valley area.
Okay.
So my dad grew up in Driggs, Idaho, actually in Alta, Wyoming, which is just barely over the border on the Wyoming side. And so when I heard about the bonspiel that was taking place in Victor, Idaho, I was actually very excited and wanted to go to it, but had some things come up. But yeah, very excited to see another club in the MoPac region.
Let's see this rock here. It looks like it's going to clip the yellow, and then roll across through the back of the house and out of play. So it does clear out the yellow. It also leaves Spangler sitting one behind cover. And that was one of the questions that Spangler was asking his teammates was, could McBride see anything there? And they couldn't, and that's also why now McBride is going to clear the guards here. Some people are asking in the chat when the Rachel Holman game is coming up. Obviously, she's not in this field, but we can tell you when the women's semifinals are coming up tomorrow morning here from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Ooh, I got a little bit of a interesting chain of rocks there. He touched them all except for the shot stone. Basically opens everything up, and so now Spangler has probably going to guard here.
Yep.
You think?
Yeah. And the thing is he'll want to set up a guard in a way where, McBride can't come in and either come around or, even be able to raise that blue stone to get the double. So, yeah, the longer the guard is from that shot rock, that raise is definitely a lot harder than if the stones are a lot closer.
Here comes the first rock from Chris Hillman. He does that little lift again, which is great. And yeah, looking for a guard. This is the side of the sheet that doesn't curl back a ton, except for perhaps a little bit late. And so that's kind of what we're seeing here.
That's
where
unfortunate.
There's a break point. They could come close to a freeze. They almost jumped back on it to try and sweep it to a corner freeze, and opted not to. So the women's semifinals. Again, Rachel Holman is not in this game. She's playing out of Ontario, which is not Ontario, California. It's Ontario, Ontario. But we can tell you when the women's games are. The women's quarterfinals begin at around 8:20 tomorrow morning here from the club, and also streaming on YouTube here when we find the right stream. The first semifinal game is between Team Camarena from San Francisco Bay Area, and she is taking on Team Aubrey from Coyotes. And let's see if there's a double here. Ooh, look at that.
Great shot.
Just them both
Great
moving. Lose a shooter, but it's an open house. And, McBride, seeing some really great takeouts here.
Yeah.
Might want to call DoorDash for all the great takeouts we're seeing.
Right, yeah. No, great line call, great weight. I mean, these players, this is, top level competition in our region, and, it's amazing to see these guys make these really good shots.
This is Hillman's second, and to let you guys know, the second women's game is between Team Walsh from San Francisco Bay Area taking on the defending champions, Team Burton, aka the Monsters. And so all that action is coming up tomorrow morning at 8:20 Pacific here on the MoPac YouTube channel and the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Mm-hmm. And it looks like he decided to put up a guard. I don't know if that was intentional.
Yeah, a little hard to say. I think he was thinking put up a guard to be able to put another stone behind it.
If there's a miss, perhaps. But the 5 rock rules expired. And
it is. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of newer skips think that once the 5 rock rule is over, why throw up guards? But, one thing that I learned recently, being a newer curler myself, is that, yes, you can still put up guards, and sometimes you still need to do that, even in the later part of the end. So we did that actually in our game earlier today, where we had some situations where we needed to put up some extra guards, and even put up, even in the beginning of the end, couple of center guards and a couple of corner guards, just to give ourselves, different spots to bury some rocks and try to, accumulate some more points.
So it looks like Spangler is just trying to kind of draw to the wings, perhaps. It looks like he's doing out-turn counterclockwise rotation there. I think just kind of maybe put the rock in a different path to make it harder for McBride to get him out. The camera did that thing. This is a great camera setup here at Bay Area, and this is sometimes it does like an automatic script function where it pans to show where the rock is going.
It needs to slow down.
Oh, it does need to slow down.
Overthrew it.
Oh goodness. So now McBride has a wide open house here. And I think he has 2 shots, so he could, if he wanted to,
attempt a skips deuce.
Yeah.
Put one at the side and make it, put some pressure on Spangler to try to answer and try to knock it out. And if he flashes that stone,
then
McBride can get his 2. Now, for some of you who are newer to curling, or some of you who are watching our stream, ideally, if you have the hammer, you want to try to get 2 points. If you are forced to 1, that happens. But if you have an opportunity to get 2, you want to strive for that. However, if you also have the hammer and you have an opportunity to blank the end if you can't get 2, then that is a situation that you may want to take advantage of so that you can retain the hammer in the next end.
So this is an interesting situation for McBride. I think he's basically kind of challenging Spangler to hit him out, and if Spangler misses, then McBride has a chance for two.
Yep.
So I think that's probably a safe situation for McBride, because either Spangler makes the hit, and then McBride returns the favor for a blank, or Spangler misses and then McBride has a chance for two.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of up to McBride's shot, right? Or sorry, Spangler's shot right now. So
McBride's in shot. McBride's yellow. So Spangler's trying to hit out McBride.
Yeah, Spangler's trying to hit out McBride. Yep. So Spangler threw his shot. Uh-oh, it's curling. It looks like he's going to get it, but he might roll out. Oh,
it's
yes.
Close, but
Nate is sweeping really hard.
And gets the job done.
He got it done.
And so I think
Nate's a great sweeper.
I would give you a shiny wooden nickel that McBride throws a blank here.
Oh, well, I don't have any nickels on me, so darn it.
So this is the last rock to the end. It looks like they're trying a slightly different path. I think it's just for academic reasons. I sincerely doubt they're going to try and draw for a single here with the hammer up one in the fourth end.
Agreed. Even if it picks, well, no, actually, you don't want it to pick accidentally into the house and get a point and give up the hammer. Yep, there it goes. Yep. It's going right through.
So we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back. We'll take a look around the reins, but we'll let you guys see what the score is when we come back to the MoPac 2023 Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. We are back to our feature sheet coverage here. Team McBride just blanked the last end, so we are now entering the fifth end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. The score is 3-2, McBride over Team Spangler, and it looks like Spangler opened up with a center guard, not quite on the center line. There is a rule in place. The no-tick rule. And would you kind of maybe explain what that is and how it may have affected the play this weekend?
Yeah, so they have a new no-tick rule.
It's a new no-tick rule.
New no-tick rule. Ooh, that is a mouthful. Yes, the way it works is it takes effect during the 5-rock rule, where if your stone is lying on the center line, it may not be ticked by the opposing team off of the center line. If it is, then the non-violating team have the option of deciding whether their stone be replaced or they may leave it. And it just applies during the 5-rock rule time. So we actually did have that happen in our game that was broadcast. And our skip decided to leave it because it actually did us a favor. Mm-hmm.
So it looks like McBride drew into the house, and it looks pretty well covered, leaving Spangler to, I think, draw down to it. That looks to be the play. as we have people's heads in the way of the shot.
A little hard to see.
This looks really good. As the sweepers were kind of watching it go, now they're finishing off. I think that's Hillman there that was sweeping.
Let's see. That was part of
It's Spangler's.
Spangler's
I'm
team.
just looking
So
at the
that
sweeper.
was Justin Legg and Adam Price are the front end for Team Spangler.
And so this is the second shot coming from the lead for Team McBride.
So it should be
Yep.
Joel.
Joel Calhoun. We haven't talked about him, so we'll do that right now.
Okay, I will read his biography.
Oh my
that
gosh,
he has.
everyone's got a story.
So Joel didn't know what drew him to that building. Was it a calling? Was it cheap beer? He just knew he had to be there. He was enchanted by the crack of the stones and the cheapness of the pitchers. He said to himself that day, "I'll be a club champion."
I hope he was. So Team McBride did these great biographies, but they also didn't really give much about their actual curling careers, saying you can find it on curlingzone.com, which is fine. But we're managing a lot of elements here in this game, so I'm not. It takes an extra step to go to Curling Zone. This is Spangler's second, Dan. Oh, Dan's by. Where's Dan?
Let's see. I don't know if we have.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Oh, Dan Stefani.
Stephanie.
Sorry. There we go. 10 years of curling experience. His previous experience, Dan Stefani has been curling for about 10 years now, the majority of which has been with Wine Country Curling Club. Dan has participated in various recreational and competitive leagues over the year. Dan has also participated on various MoPac men's, arena, mixed playdowns teams as lead, vice, or skip. Dan has played in various bonspiels in California, Nevada, and Colorado, Arizona, and Washington. When not playing regular 4-player games, Dan also really enjoys playing doubles curling. Fun fact about him, when not curling on Tuesday or Sunday leagues, Dan is often disc golfing, crossfitting, or running 160,934 centimeter races.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, after all that, it looks like McBride is taking a moment here with his vice, and that would be Nate Clark, definitely. Trying to figure out what to do here. This is a bit of a tricky situation for McBride, just the way the rocks are lined up, because if they hit their blue onto the yellow, it's likely it's going to jam on the back blue. So I think they're kind of talking about just the right angle to play.
Yeah, it may be possible that they might be trying to hit and stick or hit and do a small roll. Those didn't look like freeze calls to me. And for those of you who play in the sport of curling, it definitely is a harder shot to throw a freeze than it is a hit. And it looks like they are going for the hit, and they should hit those blue stones.
Oh, just them both moving. Leaves
Yep.
the yellow that was originally there on the button. And the shooter rolls to the 8-foot, as does the one of the blues. The second blue actually rolled out. So
Yeah. That's a great
bodacious
shot. Yeah. And the nice thing is now McBride's yellow has a little bit of backing behind it with that blue stone. So great shot. Great hit.
And again, McBride blinked the last end for a chance to set something up like this.
Yep. And I think he is very happy with the situation and where the stones are sitting right now. It's kind of funny because sometimes the team that is down, you can see a little bit of fear in their eyes, but they just have to take those deep breaths and keep going.
So it looks like they were pretty happy with the weights.
It's a really good,
Yeah.
really great throw.
There's a little bit of a separation. But I think if you hit it, you're going to get that yellow moving off of the button pretty close to all day there. So this is a shot that McBride is trying to dial up for his second there, that being Cameron Ross.
Cameron Ross. It's in the hack, ready to go.
talking it over.
It looks like McBride is asking him to come right up to the blue stone. Probably angle it at a way where if they needed to knock the blue stone out, they can without doing too much damage to their yellow stone. But they also don't want Team Spangler to also capitalize on this situation. So the release is out. Sweepers are staying close by.
Looks a little bit up weight, not a heavy takeout, but I think it's close to board weight, I would say.
Yeah, it looks like they're sweeping it. Not sure if they're waiting for it to come back in. Oh, flashed it, just barely.
So someone on the chat was making the assertion that.
How's it going?
So we're being joined by Ken Pomeroy here, the skip of Team Pomeroy, and we're just having some fun calling this game. Have you been watching it?
I have. I've been watching all the games. This is some fantastic curling action.
Ken Pomeroy is not only the skip of his team here from the Utah Olympic Oval, he's also the head of the competition committee for MoPac. And so we're definitely thankful for him and his hard work to help make sure that this event went off without a hitch. And I think it went fairly smoothly. I haven't heard too many complaints, or any complaints, actually.
I haven't heard any complaints. Perfect.
0.
Knock on wood.
This is the best game on the ice, though. You picked the right game to show. Serious.
Well, you said the draw,
action.
so you picked the right game.
Great shots.
That's true, but it was pretty much luck. All right. Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Good curling.
We have Ken's blessing, so we'll keep going. And hopefully, for those of you who are tuned in, hopefully you're getting some good information and enjoying this game. I know I'm enjoying it, watching these great shots and watching these great teams play. And we're excited to see this level of competition in our region for sure.
Interesting draw there by Spangler. I think it possibly creates a double as they are looking it over with Nate, Clark, and Skip McBride.
Nate Clark and and Justin McBride.
So going to throw some up weight on it. Maybe I don't think he floated it, so it looks pretty solid here.
Looked like it
Lots of
floated a
weight
little
here.
bit.
Ooh,
great
yeah!
shot.
Goodness gracious!
Got a double out of that.
And so with that double, and the shooter just rolls to the back eights, still out counting that very lonely Spangler rock, biting the 12-foot there, or biting the 8 to 12 foot.
Yeah.
So now McBride is sitting 3, and just the tenor of the end has changed. Where Spangler looked to have been creating a very tricky situation for McBride to get out of. Now it's McBride. He's holding 3 aces, as it were.
Yeah, and I was just watching what Spangler was calling, and he'd like to throw the shot that he threw earlier, is just freeze up to that yellow stone in the button. So by doing that, shrinking the scoring area, trying to capitalize on their situation.
Weight needs to be really on, though.
It does.
It's close.
It's close.
It
He
looks
needs
like it's
to hold
overcurling
it.
a little bit. Yes, need to hold the line there. And it looks like it's going to get to the yellow, tap it back. Hard to tell whose shot.
Wow.
This overhead camera is not precise. So
If we were to guess and have a little bet,
it looks
that's really
a little yellow
hard.
to me.
It does, but
There's a glare from the overhead light that's, I think, kind of tricking me a little bit. So I think it could be blue. I'm leaning blue.
yeah,
now.
I was actually thinking blue too, because it just feels like it's a little closer to that pin. So that pinpoint right in the middle of the button.
So now McBride is just trying to clean some house, get rid of the guard there.
Peel the guard.
Just like what happened after Queen Elizabeth died, they changed the guard. Some of these jokes don't work, guys. I made it because it was intentionally very corny. But as Nate Clark has been asked to clear the guard, another hit. This is probably going to be peel weights. It looks kind of peely to me.
Looks like they're cleaning the ice, just making sure that it's got a good path, and yep, there's the peel.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do have to say, Nate Clark did throw some great shots, 2 takeouts in a row. I did have a phone call with Tyler George. So for those of you who don't know, Tyler George was the vice skip for John Schuster in the 2018 Olympics. And as I was talking to him on the phone and having a good conversation with him and asking him about his experiences, he said in his opinion, he believes that the vice skip is one of the better players on the team just because they have to make these shots to make it easier for your skip. And so he said, even though he and John Schuster have skipped previous teams and had that kind of experience, he said, I believe that the vice skip really has an important job of making good shots to make it easier for the skip. The skip shouldn't have to make these heroic, all-star hero shots.
So it looks like Cameron Spangler has dialed up a draw for his first of 2 stip stones without the hammer here. Definitely, I think, I think the situation, this has been a very topsy-turvy end here, where,
Oh, for sure.
McBride seemed to do okay, and then all of a sudden it was sitting, looking really good for Spangler, and then that great Nate Clark double takeout.
Wow.
And this draw here is pretty close to on the money.
Wow.
What would you think McBride would do here in this situation?
Well, if he were to hit the angles just right, it's possible that he could separate those 2 blue stones.
I think if he hits it, he can double
I
and
think he can,
leave
too.
the yellow.
I think he can too.
Hopefully, sit the yellow shooter and be sitting. So be sitting 2. There's a high chance of the blue that's kind of on the top button jamming
Into
on
that yellow.
or the blue.
blue.
Yeah, that's further down
Yes.
into the 12-foot area. So.
Yep. Well, from the way they're holding the broom, it definitely looks like some kind of hit. So as McBride travels down the ice, he's cleaning his path, making sure nothing happens, that it's a smooth delivery. Don't want any picks. Don't want to pick up any wood chips or any other debris that may throw off your stone.
So this is a key shot here.
Yes. I'm excited to watch it. The anticipation is so great. There he goes.
You're gonna need to put some weight on it, and the heat is there.
Looks like a clean throw. It's coming down, sweepers.
Needs to stay online. They're holding.
Oh,
wow,
there it was.
goodness.
Yep, and then rolled out to the 12-foot.
There was a bit of a jam, but definitely shifted the end back in favor of McBride there.
For sure. And we called it. We called the hit of that blue as it was separating. It would hit one of the yellow stones or the blue stones there on the bottom, and it certainly did. And yep.
And so now what does Spangler do in this situation?
This is a very tricky situation, and he's calling a timeout.
Timeout?
So he's going to gather his team, and they're going to discuss the shot. It looks like having a little hard time calling timeout. Did they get it? Looks like they did. The whole team is coming down to discuss options, possibilities. What would you do in this shot?
So both teams get 1 90-second timeout in regulation. Part of the extended time is usually a minute, but they allow 90 seconds to allow a coach or an alternate player to get onto the ice and walk down the sheets.
Yes.
I don't think there's a coach here in this situation, and they are thinking about it. And goodness gracious, Kim in the chat noting that the power went out at her hotel, but it got back on, and she's able to now watch the second half of the game. So very glad that she's able to tune in.
Yep.
Part of a team that is taking the night off. So
Yep.
what better way
Watch
to
the
take a break
games
from curling than to watch curling?
From your hotel room,
Yeah.
right? And some of you are watching from the comfort of your homes, and
Yeah.
that's also very fun. And I always like to come back and watch these games and just see how things play out. And yeah.
Well, and how is this end going to play out? Because Spangler only has 1 rock left without the hammer.
Yes.
They've been doing draws to the button, and their draws have been very successful.
Yeah.
And so part of me thinks they would draw, but then you have that tight yellow that's sitting like smack dab in the middle of the 4-foot.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely a tricky situation because trying to squeeze a blue rock between those 2 yellows is not very likely. Practically impossible there. It looks like I saw somebody tap the broom in front of the Yellowstone. I'm not sure if they're wanting to try to keep McBride down to 2 points if they were to freeze to that one. But the way they're holding that broom, that looks like it's going to be a hit.
So as Staffin pointed out in the chat, there's always a triple and I'm thinking they're
There
going
is a
to
triple.
try and go for the triple.
I'm not going to lie. The angles are going to be a little more difficult. You have to hit it just right, because if not, I'm afraid the one that's on the button is going to jam. It may roll a little bit. But here we go. The throw
Lots of
is-
weight to make it happen.
The throw is released.
It looks
Here
pretty close
comes.
here. Swoopers are on it. Got one.
Yep.
Oh, and just
Yep.
the one.
And that's what I was afraid of, was that jam, that hit and stick, and that back one flies out. And now McBride, having hammer, now gets an option to draw for 3.
Just call me a kid who doesn't like peanut butter because that's a double jam sandwich.
That's a double jam sandwich, yep. Yeah, the triple, I agree also with Staffen that there was a triple, but the angles had to be just right. And the way all the stones were lined up, I was thinking, the likelihood of that seems pretty low. I'm going to say less than 5%.
Yeah,
From my curling
I'm curious
experience.
about what the alternative would have been because the draw would have been tricky.
The draw would have been tricky, trying to freeze to it, and if he didn't get close enough, McBride also had some options. So
But it could have cut them down to 2 or even 1.
For sure.
And now this is a draw for 3
Yep.
coming from Justin McBride. By the way, they have a total team bio that we can get to in the net stand here because they've got a story to tell and the team does as well. But the story they're telling right now is that they have a triple
Oh,
capitalizing on the hammer here in the 5th end
Yes.
to take a 6-2 lead over Cameron Spangler. I think we're seeing some really well executed curling here.
yes, that was definitely some excellent play calling and excellent shots, and yes, McBride played that very well. It was a little unfortunate for Spangler, that they weren't able to hit that shot, get that triple. But hopefully, this is the time for teams to, discuss how things are going. During this time, be the break that you get between, the ends is a time to reflect and say, what's going well, what's things that we can work on. Great time for your team to kind of get aligned and get back on the same page.
So really quickly, before we get back to our feature sheet game, we wanted to go around the rings, update you on the action on all the sheets. A lot of these games, some of the leaders have started to open up their lead, as we saw on sheet 2. Sheet 1, it's been mostly Sidians from Coyotes taking a 5-1 lead over Team Barajas from San Francisco. Sidians is playing with the Red Rocks. On sheet 2, our feature game, you already know it's McBride 6-2 over Spangler. On sheet 3, the Coyotes dogfight between Team Tate with the Red Rocks and Team Fleming. Fleming is chasing now as Tate has a 5-2 lead. And then on sheet 4, Team Leclerc from Coyotes, Yellow Rocks has a 6-4 lead from Meyer. They traded deuces back and forth. Leclerc got a deuce in end 5, and Meyer answered back with a deuce in 6. So that's the closest game on the ice right now with a 2-point game. Right now on sheet 2, our feature sheet game, Cameron Spangler and his team has work to do.
Yep. And it looks like they still need to update a couple of the scores there on the Bonspieler. So for those of you who are curious, bonspieler.com, that's a way to look up these scores and great way to follow the games and know what's going on.
So we'll watch this first Spangler stone go into the playing area. It looks a little heavy. I think they want to draw around that center guard. I said it was heavy. It hit the brakes there.
Yeah, it looks about right.
And that's Spangler's lead, Justin Legg. Oh, they have bios. I forgot they have bios.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, yeah, on this piece of paper that we have, Justin Legg, we just have his name. We don't have any kind of biography, but yeah.
All right. So our camera's doing that camera thing again.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
All right. Actually, let's switch back to it. Pretty good. Clears the guard. Rolls out. So let's see here. Talking about going to curlingzone.com. Sometimes I forget to go to my own email, and this is Spangler.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, okay. There's
this
another
is-
team that
this
sent
is
me bios.
Spangler's-
So
yeah, Spangler's team.
So they're sweeping it.
Yeah, they're sweeping. Looks like they're trying to put up a guard.
Oh, it needs to be, okay, it's
Oh,
definitely
and it
over the
may
hog line.
over-curl.
It is over curling,
Nope,
but
don't sweep it.
well, they could sweep it to try and hold it a little straighter, maybe so that there's a little bit of coverage. It's covering shot rock at least a little bit,
Yeah,
but that's not going to do anything.
no. And that was one of my experiences as the rock was over-curling, I would try to sweep it to hold it straight. Oh, there it goes. There goes our camera angle. But Ken informed me, he said, you know, sometimes when you sweep it to try to hold it straight, you're just extending the distance that it goes, and then it curls even more, and you're like, no, I need you to hold it. So it was a good learning experience for me.
This looks like it is around the guard. Looks pretty good.
Peeling it off.
It chips the blue, and both the blue and the yellow shooter roll out of play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that blue rock was exposed, and I just wanted to kind of get rid of it. Didn't look like full peel weight. That looked more like normal weight, maybe control weight. A little lighter than peel.
And so now Spangler, this is it. So Spangler's trying to, I think, put up a corner guard, just based on where he's got the broom and where he indicated the turn. He wants the counterclockwise out turn from Dan Stephanie.
Stan Stephanie.
Yep.
Oh, I kept thinking that was
Yeah, he's right here, but we read his bio.
Adam Price.
So looking to put up a corner guard here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Got mission accomplished there. That is the sixth rock at the end. Oh, it looks like it went a little heavy actually.
Went a little heavy.
Not that it changes things too much because the five rock rule is over, and so McBride could blast just like he was at the Flintstones tour on the TV show The Flintstones. Some of my analogies don't work either,
Well, and to come up with them on the spot on a live stream can be very difficult.
I'm really happy I came up with the Nido Montoya to describe a 600 though.
There we go.
That's my finest accomplishment this weekend.
You don't by chance have 6 fingers, do you?
I have 6 stones.
I have 6 stones.
How does that even work? So
You keep saying that phrase. I don't think it means what you think it means.
McBride does hit out that Spangler rock that went into the house, and so I think he's asking for Stephanie to put that rock back at this point. I'm curious about the scenario here because both teams have proven that they can hit, and so putting a rock into the open like that, I guess it's kind of challenging them to miss or move the rocks around a certain way.
Yeah. Well, Spangler is throwing up another corner guard to try to get something to get some points. And now the 5 rock rule is over, if you can see all those rocks on the back wall ledge there. And so McBride is now thinking, you know what, let's clear these out because I don't want Spangler to be able to, bury some rocks and capitalize on some potential points.
I think McBride is thinking that there might be a double there. And
oh, yeah, it looks like it.
I think it'll be a little tricky, but the angle is probably pretty close.
It's close. It's definitely going to be a tricky shot, and we're going to see if Nate Clark can throw this. Nate Clark is a great curler.
He's throwing heat again.
Yes, he is. So it is away.
Got one.
Oh, okay.
But that's not bad. I mean, clearing the center guard is not too bad. I mean, it keeps it open. I guess normally when you don't have hammer, you try to control the front of the house and the area, in, the center of the guard zone area and stuff. And
Yeah.
And now basically it gives Spangler a path to draw around that corner. So
Yeah.
it's a very interesting situation here.
Yeah. The broom call that Spangler is calling, I think, is a great broom call. There should be about that much amount of curl, and you want to make sure that you're not throwing it too light, or else it will curl too much or become a guard, and then it's not doing you any good.
This is Hillman's first, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like he has, I think, a decent amount of weight on this shot here. So I think it's definitely going to get around that corner. Ooh, he's opting to go around if you want to see here, you have to go around McBride's guard.
Oh, and it's heavy.
And it is heavy. So it's going
heavy.
to go through the house out of play. So just
Yeah.
a little bit, too much pepper on that stone.
You know, one thing that when we had a Zoom call with Kevin Martin, which was really fun, which we had about a year and a half ago, I asked him a question, and he was like, "Huh, interesting. I've never had anybody ask this question before." But I said, "Now, Kevin Martin, if you could talk to yourself in the past when you were first starting curling, what kind of advice would you give yourself?" And he said, "Well," he said, "through my years of curling, you know, I've known that when you get in the hack, that sometimes you have to take a step back, take a deep breath, count to 10, do whatever you need to bring your heart rate down, to calm down, relax, to make those draw shots." Because he says, you know, in the game of curling, there's things that happen, bad things, and you get frustrated and, you know, all these things, and you get upset, and your heart rate starts going up. So he says, you got to take those deep breaths, bring it down, bring that heart rate down, and then make your draw shot. So, I mean, and in this game, like, for those of you who curl, you know how hard sometimes making those draws behind guards can be.
So Nick Clark, took out his own guard to kind of keep the whole front of the house clean. And smart call, as called by Brenna on our chat here.
Yes.
Shouts out to all the curlers that are watching this broadcast. We're definitely doing this to help grow the game and share the game with other people who are passionate about the sport, and hopefully to get other people passionate about the sport. And when you see these shots like this, I mean,
That's a great shot right there.
yeah, it's a beautiful draw
Little
around
deep,
the corner guard.
but
Yeah.
it works.
It's going to be pretty tricky for McBride to get it out, and so I think they're kind of looking at getting rid of the guard first.
Yep, peel the guard. Yeah, at this point with the kind of score that McBride has, for me personally, you know, with it being 2-6, if I'm reading that right, or is that 2-5? It's a little pixelated. 2-6, there it is. You know, you definitely want to keep everything clean. Don't leave any guards around. Don't leave anything in the house. Keep it low scoring, right? He's playing on a defensive type of strategy where he's trying to keep the house open and trying to force Spangler to one, you know, if he can, and just keep on that pressure. So yeah, peel that guard, and then that exposes that blue stone, and that forces Spangler to have to throw another guard. There really isn't any other shot for him if he wants to try to get some points.
I think they're also thinking that they might be able to get a double out of here.
Let's see, what's it doing? Yeah,
Got one.
Yep.
Ticks it out, so
Yep.
not too bad. And now for Spangler, something to think about. I think they're definitely looking at splitting the house, which I think is not a bad call.
Yeah, agreed.
Because if they go back to the same side that their blue shooter is,
Yeah, no, splitting the house is definitely a good call. The trick is being able to separate the stones far enough where there's no easy double, or, you know, making it easy for McBride to knock his, you know, Spangler's stones out.
So they're partially splitting the house.
Partially splitting.
Because I think what they're trying to do is they're going to try and draw toward the button. And then, you know, I think keeping it high is going to be the call here. So they keep it high, like if they're touching the 12 foot, and then it kind of dares, it kind of dares McBride to hit him out. So this is a fascinating shot here. It looks like they did want to try and keep it high. It does go a little bit deep. And so my thinking is, in the setup, is that they're basically challenging McBride to hit the shot stone just below the button. Now the situation is, I thought they wanted to keep it high, and actually this might actually work out for them.
Because
because
there's no double now.
Yeah, there is no double.
Absolutely
so
no double.
I think that was the shot they called. I think well done by
Spangler.
Cameron Spangler.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he definitely could have put up that guard to protect that stone, but yeah, splitting the house, that was definitely some really smart thinking and an alternate choice. And you know, that's why they call the sport chess on ice, right? Because there's lots of different moves, and And that's what's so fun and exciting about it is the game can change so quickly.
And so now also that it looks like McBride is dialing up the takeout. He's conceding a possible deuce. Which is not too bad because they're up by 4. So giving up
They're up
2
by 4.
here, they have the hammer in the 7th end.
Yep.
They're
Still in a good situation.
They're controlling the game.
Yeah.
And so McBride calls for sweeping here. Sweepers jump on it now. Yelling hard.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite like a peel weight. That looks more of some.
Oh, it's over curling.
Uh-oh.
This could be
Gotta hit it.
disastrous.
Gotta hit it. Oh.
Mercy me.
Wow. It looked a little light as it was coming out. I'm not sure what exactly he was trying to accomplish there. Whether he was trying to do a hit and roll, which I've also seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it was over curling, and that's why you saw the sweepers, trying to go aggressively at that sweeping to hold that line.
So with this miss,
Oh,
Cameron Spangler has a draw, an open draw for 3. Cheryl on the chat was saying a quiet tap back, and I agree that seems to be what was called for, to kind of tap the blue back so to create a bit of a pocket and a
Yep.
possible jam. And
then limit Spangler to 1.
yes.
Yeah, which that actually makes sense. Quiet tap back. Yep. Not enough ice.
Here, looks like the weight's pretty good. Just watching it down.
Little heavy.
Weight's there.
Little heavy.
There's some backing. It's going to draw into the backing.
Oh,
there.
they're good.
So,
They're
yeah.
good.
So
Great
just,
shot.
Yep.
Yep. There
And
you go.
so there's an open 3.
Wow.
And,
What a comeback.
One with one hand. I mean, working really hard. I mean, both teams were working really hard for these points on
They
both
were.
sides.
Yeah. Great calls. Great shots.
So I guess we can see why they're in the playoffs.
Yeah. And it's that kind of strategy. Like, players may not be playing their absolute best or, making all of their shots. But as long as they are, keeping to a plan and strategizing and, following the skip, it's amazing to see what can come back. And wow, 3 points in this end. Like, that is very impressive.
So we switched to our around the rings coverage. There's some messy houses on both sheets 1 and sheet 3. Christmas isn't over on those sheets. On sheet 1, Siggins with the Red Rocks has a 5-2 lead over Barajas, but Barajas is sitting shot here. Sheet 2 is our feature sheet, trading threes back and forth. A bit of a... Are we in the 8th end already?
We are coming up on the 8th end, I think.
I missed an end. Oh, wow. Okay. I'll fix that. And my apologies. But so it is 6-5. McBride having the hammer coming home. And then on sheet 3, Team Tate with the Red Rocks has a 7-2 lead over Team Fleming. Both teams are from Coyotes. Tate has a shot right now in the house on sheet 3. And on sheet 4, our Elfster sheets. Looks like just finished an end, starting a new one. Team Leclerc holding a 6-5 lead over Meyer. Leclerc holding the Yellow Rocks and the hammer coming home.
Yeah.
So
It's a close game.
Just
Close game
fascinating.
there on sheet 4.
yeah. So switching back to the 8th and final end of our feature game. This game is going so fast. I missed missed an end count at some point, and I apologize for that. I'll update the scoreboard accordingly.
They're throwing the stones back home. So yeah, this is definitely the 8th end. I'm just looking at the camera angles. Yep, bringing it home to the scoreboard. Yep, we're definitely in the 8th end.
So
This is where things get very interesting.
the scoreboard's always said the 8th end. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
McBride is drawn in. This is going to be an interesting situation because Spangler needs to steal here. He needs
does.
to steal 1 to tie, 2 to win.
He does. And so what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to put up some guards and, see if he can capitalize on that. And, you definitely don't want an open and empty playing area. So, yeah, I definitely want to have stones in play to try to, draw some stones behind, try to steal that 1, go into an extra end if possible. I mean, ideally, if he can steal 2, wonderful. There you go. You've got the game. But yeah, let's see what Spangler can do. What magic does he have up his sleeve?
So people are getting very social in the warm room. That's correct, Kim. Let's see here. So Spangler chose to put up another guard.
No wonder it's cold back here. I feel like the air conditioning's running.
Let's see here what Joel Calhoun has dialed up here for his second shot here on this end. Did we read the Calhoun bio? Yes, we did. We read all the biographies.
Yeah, there was one biography I felt like we missed.
So Spangler's put up staggered center guards, and McBride has answered by putting up two in the house centered behind those center guards. So very interesting situation.
Yep.
It's kind of like an arena curling type play, because in arena curling you put up a guard, but then it's like whoever gets behind the guard first has the best opportunity to take advantage of the end. Yeah. They're calling, I think, a decent amount of upweight, I think, or were they calling for another guard?
Yeah, they were trying to get right in front of that yellow guard, but it needs to curl. He needs to push it over, but it's not coming over. It's not curling enough, and I'm afraid it's going to go right past that yellow. Maybe tap. Oh, okay. Tap it over. Okay. Yeah, that was very, very interesting. It didn't come over fast enough.
No.
A little more weight than I think they were hoping for, but, that's just part of the game. Like, your shots, the weight isn't always perfect, so that's the fun aspect of curling, is being able to dial in those different weights. Okay, this is from Team McBride, his second, which is Cameron Ross.
Yep.
Looks like he's throwing a hit.
Yep.
Hopefully rolling, wanting to roll. Okay, leaving that one exposed.
So now there's kind of like a slash there if you wanted to, like kind of slash the yellow that's in the top 8 onto the yellows and just kind of get them moving away from the center of the house.
Yeah, but it looks like Spangler is actually wanting to put a blue stone right in that pocket.
Yeah.
If they can get right in that pocket, then, now they're shrinking the scoring area and then, setting themselves up to try to steal a point. So, yeah, there is that slash. And actually, Ryan, I'm going to tell you, on one of our games, our second game that we played against Team Betts, I did actually have a lucky shot where it did a corner raise takeout, and I thought we were going to clip our stone, but we clipped the other team's stone out, and we were able to get a 3-ender on that one. And everyone is like, wow, how did you do that? And no, that was a lucky shot. That was not necessarily intentional.
This stone curled up on them and actually crashed on the guard there.
Yeah.
Not too bad, actually, because it kind of opens up a path to the shot stones.
Yeah.
Still a difficult situation for Spangler, who, again, has to be sitting shot to steal. And
the situation is looking a little bleak. Oh, and it looks like he called a timeout.
McBride has called her timeout. So they're going to think about it.
Yep. Clark, Ross, and Calhoun are coming down to discuss possibilities, options.
And also, Spangler's also moving to the side to take an outside look of what's going on. So looking at the overhead as the McBride goes into the house, they were kind of initially looking at putting one in the top 12 near the center line and just really kind of block that run back.
Yep.
Or that run to.
Yeah.
To take out the yellows.
Yeah, block that run back, or potentially even block that draw path, because he knows Spangler is trying to get into that pocket, because he knows if he can set that up, that he has a little bit of a chance there. But
this is also a situation where you can't guard or block every move that Spangler can make.
For sure. And it's like chess, going back to chess, right? There's always multiple options. I mean, unless you're forced into a certain situation, which hopefully it doesn't come down to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are options here.
Fascinating. I mean, also, so it looks like they were trying to block the center, but also Spangler could try and draw onto the right bottom side here from this overhead view.
Yeah. And depending on how things go, like, yeah, I've seen in the chat right now, Cheryl is telling us a crucial shot coming up for McBride, and I absolutely agree, and that's why they took that time out, is to discuss it, discuss different options, and, and one of the fun aspects of curling also is, trying to get inside your opponent's head and think, okay, now if I were them, what kind of shot would I do? And so that's where, a lot of the strategy and fun competition come into this game. Love it.
So now they're also kind of looking at guarding. So also some people are saying draw, some people are saying get rid of the two front ones so they can be used to raise later.
Yeah.
Keith is saying peel the right side guard because the left side is really well blocked at this point.
Yeah. And that was actually one of my thoughts too, is just peel that blue guard so they can't use it to raise, do some kind of raise takeout.
So when it's all said and done, it looks like they are going to try and draw, I think, more to a guard position. I don't know how deep they're going to go, so I think they're going to do what Eric is suggesting, guarding the center line.
Guarding the center line, yep. Eric, I think you're on spot.
Although based on the weight, though, it looks like it could be a little deep.
And even if it goes up into the 12 foot, that's also not bad. So, okay, it's not curling enough.
So it's going to wreck on the blue guard, but Spangler was in a place to jump up and sweep it. I think that's pretty close to a miss there.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they wanted. I'm pretty certain that's not what they wanted.
So Spangler has a very tight port area to maybe try and go towards. I don't see what it gets them though, because he could get those two yellows moving. If he goes like straight down the center with the outturn counterclockwise.
Yep. Yeah.
And but then there's also a high chance of wrecking on the yellows in the top eights.
For sure.
And so I think they're looking at a draw. I think they're trying to draw down into the pile.
Draw through that port.
Yes.
Trying to do the shot that McBride's team attempted to do.
These are tricky high.
Oh, no, it's not curling enough.
Yeah.
It's not curling. Yeah, that ice is tricky. Reading that line, and now he's going to, just open it up.
Not too bad, though,
No.
for a miss.
Yeah. Let's see, and McBride has the hammer.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So it's limiting our options, as later this end is starting to get late and options are starting to shrink.
We are middle of Vice's stones here. We got Chris.
This
Nate
is
Clark?
Nate Clark.
Oh, so the Team McBride has a bio.
Oh yeah, let's read the
team
bio.
bio.
Yeah, the team biography of Team McBride, out of Hollywood, says if our team I think they meant to say mentally. It says mentality. Oh no, I'm sorry. If our team mentality were to be summed up in one phrase, it would have to be from Cameron when he said, explicit word, with me, I got it. Rick Ross, Big Papi, Cameron Ross, it's been a guiding force through the grueling qualification process. I'm not going to read the exact quote just to...
So I was chatting with one of the players, and apparently none of those people he said that quote actually said that quote.
There we go.
So I was pointing in the chat, just based on the outcome of the last two shots, now McBride can just kind of guard that central channel, and that is exactly what Nate Clark did. You can call him the postman because he is a big fan of Karl Malone.
Oh, there we
I'm joking.
go.
No, but the postman delivers.
Oh, well, I was like, maybe you got some information that I didn't.
I mean, he could be a fan of Karl Malone.
He could be.
It's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, you never know.
So there was a question, not in the chat, but I played a trivia game over the holidays, and it was like it was about Post Malone, and it's like what's this player's last or this singer's last name, and we were saying it's like
That's true. And what was the answer?
Oh, it's Post Malone. So it's like
Oh,
you're trying
okay.
to say it's like this pop singer is named after a famous basketball player.
Yep.
It's like, oh man, you know, he really likes the Utah Jazz, and I guess he delivers and stuff. It's
Yeah.
Post Malone,
It's
guys.
Post
Post
Malone.
Malone.
Yep.
So Chris Hillman, the vice
Situation.
for Spangler, clears the guard, and now all Clark has to do really is, I think, put the guard back up.
Yeah. Now they just have to remember this line, and hopefully they've been paying attention to see how much it curls, because this line has been thrown a couple of times, and so let's actually see if it starts to curl. It looks like Ross is already starting to jump on it to sweep it, okay, and then the lead is trying to, well, he was trying to help, but now it looks like it's all up to Ross. Sweeping it.
This is a
yeah, you're
guard.
getting some curling.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
there
when
you
it
go,
breaks, I
getting
think it
carve.
goes. But yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't curl as much. I mean, but that's still a great shot there. Definitely shrinking the size of that port. And from the way the stones are set up, it is definitely making a harder shot. Oh, wow.
He's going for it?
Well, it looks like the way the vice skip for Spangler, let me make sure I get his name right, Chris Hillman,
Yep.
is holding the broom. Oh, nope. Change of mind. Change of broom.
I think just moving the broom.
Just moving the broom slightly.
They're going to go for that shot.
Yeah, let's, we're just discussing it really quick. I don't know if we can see the time.
So they're looking at, I think they're going to try the intern and maybe kind of wick off of the yellow that's in the top 8 and then kind of roll towards the pocket by the button. A huge level of difficulty here.
Yeah.
And
Hard to say, to be honest, Ryan. It actually almost looks like they're trying to just blow up all of yellow stones right there. They might be throwing something in to try to get some kind of triple.
Oops.
Let's see what happens. Oh yes, and the camera moved for the dynamics and for the intense situation. So here we go. This is a critical shot, and this being Spangler's first throw, he needs to make something count. Here he goes. Oh, great pan zoom. There we go. Yep, okay, you saw his arm extend. That stone is moving quickly, as you can see the shuffling feet of the sweepers. Oh, it needs to move just a little more.
oh no! It crashed on their own blue guard.
That was so close.
On the wings.
That was a great shot. Like, man, those shots are just, yeah, you have to be right on. It's like shooting a torpedo into the Death Star. You know?
I was shot womp rats back in Bakerstadium back home, and their hovels weren't that big.
That's right. It was only a meter wide, or
don't know.
whatever Luke says. I don't remember what he was saying, but
He just wants to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. That's
And
all
hang
he
out with
wanted
his
to
friends.
do. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. And the funny thing is for those of you who follow some of the Facebook memes, so Mark Hamill actually did find a Tashi gas station, took a picture and said, "Here you go, Facebook world, or the rest of the world. Stay on target." There we go. Love that we have some Star Wars fans out there.
so McBride is talking about this, and now they're basically saying that the center's pretty well clogged up. They're going to try and I think kind of block the outturn draw, the counterclockwise draw on the right side, the lower side of the sheet from this view, based on where Clark has the broom.
Yeah.
And this is this is a pretty good shot. Going to do that again.
Camera moved. Oh, I see. Delivering away, shooter view.
Just now the camera's doing what it wants to do.
It's all of these pre-set up scenes and.
I mean, again, this is a great setup from San Francisco Bay Area Curling. I normally bring my own equipment to events like this, and it's been a great pleasure. This is looks like it over curled, or they're actually trying to drawing it into
Blocking the blue,
Yeah,
making it very difficult for Spangler to be able to throw something in there and try to crash everything up again. This makes it very, very difficult. With the situation, it looks like McBride is sitting 3 currently, Spangler is the 4th stone, and then McBride also has a stone on the outside 12, but not really anything that you can do with that stone.
So he's not going to go for the port. He's lining up for a double angle raise to the long blue from the guard zone to the blue in the top 8, and then tap it to the button.
Now, one interesting thing, Ryan, as you switch the camera angle,
One sec.
is that it looks like they're only seeing about half of that blue stone. Now, we have to remember that this is from the webcam view, and from the hack it may look different. But this will be, I mean, that was an option that it looks like they were exploring, but now it looks like they're picking another option.
So they, someone in the chat pointed out looking for the in-off, and so they're saying that is the shot.
Yeah.
Still a high level of difficulty,
For
but
sure.
you know, it does. I mean, the angle is there
Yeah.
for the in-off. That rock is high enough. The angle is good
It's there.
for the in-off. They're really moving towards that. But now Cameron's kind of looking back to the double run back.
Oh, now he's saying, you know what?
The double raise.
Yeah, the double raise. I mean, there is that possibility that if they don't hit that, you know, as they raise that stone, that if they hit the wrong angle, that will just go right through the port, and then they get nothing.
Well, the other thing is, I would question why don't they draw to the back to the button, and we've seen this end. The rocks are just not curling on that
Yeah.
side of the ice.
For sure.
And so I think the draw is a no-go, even though my favorite shot is a draw.
Yeah. Well, now looking at it, I wonder if Spangler, now I don't know for sure, but he's wondering if he could do a hit and roll off of his own bluestone and roll into the house. That is an option too. You just have to make sure that he rolls into the 4-foot, biting the button, being shot rock. Is this his last stone?
I think
it is.
And
Yeah.
I'm zooming into the camera for the clock. So they have 2 minutes remaining. So they can spend like up to another minute or so discussing this.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go another 90 seconds really, but
Oh, yeah,
but
2
then
minutes, that's
they're going to be
great.
really pushing it.
Yeah.
But decision made. Spangler's heading back to the hatch for his shot.
Yeah.
He's
Now
got-
oh, go ahead.
It
Go
looks
ahead,
like
Brian.
he's doing the in-off, just based on where he. Well, shucks. He has the broom. It looks like it's on the tee line, so he's not putting it next to the stone. So it could be the in-off. It also could be, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any microphones on the sheet to be able to hear them, to hear what they discussed. And
He's
it looks
going for
like
the
it's
draw.
some kind of draw. Yep.
So what I said was probably not going to be a tricky shot. They're going for it, and this.
It's got to hold it. It's got to hold the line.
Well, it needs to curl too. It's
It
such a tough
does.
situation.
It does,
So
'cause of
it's
the-
around the first
oh, no,
guard,
too heavy.
and then it's now. Oh no.
Too heavy. That's it. Right
So
through. Back
that's going to be
line.
handshakes there.
Back line hack weight. Back line weight.
My goodness.
Wow.
What a battle, though, by both teams. Spangler coming up just short, and it's McBride emerging with the 9-5 win here after 8. And just a great game. Looks like we had a lot of great semifinals all around here, and just
Yeah.
I mean that's why they're in the playoffs. So just a great game there. Let's go back around the reins. Looks like a lot of the games are off the ice. There's looks like 2 games are still on the ice. So let's go check and see what's going on with them, and we will update the playoff situation as well. Actually, yeah. So 3 games are done now. The only sheet that's still in action is sheet 1, the Sidins Barajas game.
That's very close.
Sidins just took out the shot stone from Barajas, and that's it. Sidins secures a 6-4 victory against Barajas and a berth in the semifinals. Again, so all the games are in the books now, so we can tell you who won, and we can also set up tomorrow morning's semifinal for the men's, and also let you know which our feature game is going to be, and also the women's games that are also going to be on the ice.
Yeah.
So just to recap, the Lions scores, Team Citizens again. It says they scored 2. I missed one of the reds.
It was a little hard to see. I think it blended in the 12-foot.
There might be a Tim Hortons cup there on the sheet somewhere.
Yep.
7-4 win, Citizens over Barajas. On sheet 2, it was McBride securing the 9-5 win over Spangler. On sheet 3, the Coyotes dogfights. Team Tate ousted Fleming with an 8-2 win. And then on sheets 4, Team Leclerc finished off with a 7-5 win over Team Meyer. So that is the end of the qualification round. And so now we're going to go into the semifinals. Tomorrow morning at around 8:20 or so. We have a start time, but the start time includes about 10 minutes of practice for each team. They also do draw shots for some reason in the playoffs. So the men's semifinal one is the winners of the 3 and 4 games. And so tomorrow on the feature sheet, you're going to see Tate take on Team Leclerc. And that's going to be our feature game at 8:20. The other semifinal is going to be Citizens taking on McBride in the second semifinal. So
Excellent.
should be a fascinating pair of games, and also fascinating will be to watch the women's games. We have again Team Camarena from San Francisco taking on Team Aubrey from Coyotes. The second semifinal will feature Team Walsh from San Francisco. Yes, taking on
Excellent.
Team Burton from Coyotes, the defending champions. The defending champions for both the men's and the women's are still in it, and they are one step away from getting. Well, they're 2 steps away. They have to win 2 games, so they're 2 steps away
Semifinal
from
and the
repeating
final.
again. Yes. So that action will come back. We'll be back in the morning. Just to let you guys know that this broadcast was presented by the authority and by the authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. So I've been asking people this since they're on the chat and chatting with me.
Yeah.
We might allow people to reproduce these games, perhaps in Lego form or interpretive dance. And so if you could choose to reproduce this game that we just saw, how would you reproduce it?
Oh, for those of you who know me, it would definitely be interpretive dance, especially if you saw the moonwalk earlier.
You and your wife do Irish dance.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do, and definitely like some of the stretching and some of the foot positioning definitely helps with curling. But Ryan, I just want to say, from the Utah Olympic Oval Curling Club, that you do a fantastic job with these streams, and I hope that everyone who tunes in is entertained and that you're getting a lot of information and learning from these games. I always like to come back and be able to watch them and be able to learn from them, but you do a great job just keeping us updated on the games, and these have been some great games, and I'm really excited to see how the semifinal games go for both the men and women tomorrow.
Indeed.
And as Brianna says in the chat, good
Brenna,
night
yep.
and good curling.
Yes.
Sorry, Brianna.
You stole my line, Brenna.
Brenna, sorry. Oh, I'm a little far from the screen. I
It's
couldn't see
all
that.
good. But again, for all of us here at MoPac in the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, this has been Ryan, joined by Trevor, and for both of us and Brenna saying good night and good curling.
Good night and good curling.